Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Stella. If you're just coming across my channel, you're highly welcome. Kindly subscribe to my channel and turn on your notification bell because I upload sewing tutorials on this channel. Alright, so today we're going to be making a long pencil skirt with open slit and waistband. Now this skirt will address all your fitting issues. Okay, I know that we already have a detailed video on how to draft a pencil skirt, but this particular video includes the updated sewing techniques. All right, so I'll take us through what I have done. Now there's already a video on how to draft a pencil skirt, so I didn't want to prolong the video, so I went ahead to draft. Now let me take us through. So this is the waistline. Okay, so the waist to the hip length is 9 inches, waist to the knee is 18 inches, and the full length of the skirt is 41.5 inches. I also added 2 inches hemming allowance to this. Okay, so let's label. Now this is the front skirt block, all right, and this is the back skirt block. Okay, so here's the center front of the skirt and here's the side front. So this is the side back and the center back. Okay, now these labelings are very important. Okay, now from the hip line I came up by 2 inches to draft my dart, and I did the same thing on the back. Now on the center back line I came in by 1 inch before I marked the waist round divided by 4. Okay, so it's exactly the same thing with what we have already on the channel, and I'll drop the link in the description box. Now let's move over to the contouring. Okay, so I subtracted 2.5 inches from the hip round measurement, okay, and I marked it on the knee length. So we're working with a hip round of 44. Now I simply divided 44 inches by 4, and that gave me 11, and I subtracted 2.5 inches, so I marked 8.5 inches on the knee length. Now for the back, that 2.5 inches contouring, I divided it into 2 and I marked 1.25 on each side. Okay, so and I connected it all the way to the hem. All right, so this is it. I'll leave the link to the detailed video in the description box. All right, and I will encourage you to watch it so that you'll be fully in the know of what we're trying to do. Okay, now let me introduce us to the things that we're going to be making use of. We'll use the tracing wheel and my marker pen, okay, and my ruler, okay, and my pencil, of course. Now I'll proceed to separate these two patterns so that we will begin our alteration proper. So I'll come in with my scissors and we'll cut. Now I have separated the patterns, so we're going to start our alteration from the front skirt block. All right, now the first thing we're going to do on the front is to slope the waistline. Now the essence of this sloping is to eliminate that bulging, okay, or the rumpling or the folding that usually appears around the waistline of skirts or gowns. Okay, so from the waistline I'm coming down by 1 inch. Now note that you can slope with either 1 inch or 1.5. all right, so I will use 1 inch. Now I'll go ahead and close my dart permanently, all right, because I will not be sewing the dart on the outfit. And to close your dart is simple. You raise your pattern paper along your marked dart line. Okay, so you through it and you rest it on the second dart leg, okay, just like I am doing. Now I'll come in with my paper tape and I'm going to tape the dart down permanently. All right, just like I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to be stitching the dart on the fabric, so I'm closing it permanently. All right, and here we have it. Now I'll come in with my curve ruler and we're going to connect to our 1 inch slope. Okay, so we're connecting from the center front to the side front. Now I'm using a slight curve. All right, and here we have it. I'm done. Now the next thing that we need to do is to go ahead and do a little bit of explanation here. Okay, now most times you notice that the moment you slope your skirt, notice that your waist round will increase. Now we made use of 8.3, okay, because her waist round is 33.5 inches divided by 4, so that gave me 8.3. Now after I finished sloping this, all right, I remeasured it and what I have now is 8.6. so that simply means that the measurement increased by 0.25. Now you would think 0.25 is small until you multiply it by 2. All right, so these are the tiny issues that affect fittings. Okay, now the more you go down with your sloping, the more you add to your waist round measurement. So if we sloped the center front with 1.5 inches, by the time you measure it, you will notice that your waist round will increase. All right, so I'll go ahead and mark her actual waist round divided by 4 so that we can make the correction. So 33.5 inches divided by 4 will give us 8.3 inches. So I will go ahead and connect it back to the hip length. All right, and here we have it. I have done that connection back. Now we will need to mark our waistband. So from our new waistline, I will mark my waistband. Now I want the width of the waistband to be 1.5 inches. So I will come in with my tape and I'll begin to mark. Remember I said the width of the waistband is 1.5 inches. So I'll mark this across, all right, and I will connect it. All right, here we have it. I have marked it. Now I'll try and use my curve ruler to just connect our waistband. All right, and here we have it. Now we'll proceed to label. So let's label the waistband. Now this side is going to be on fold. Okay, so I'll put the unfold sign and I'll label it as my front waistband. Now labelings are very key, okay, so that you don't mix up your pattern paper. All right, so I'm simply writing front waistband on it. All right, now I'll write my side front so that I will know the side. Now I like to use my arrows to indicate the joining line. Okay, so I'll go ahead and draw my arrows so that the moment I see it, I already know that it is the joining line. Okay, and this is it. We're done with the waistband. All right, so I'll come in with my scissors and we'll cut this out. Yeah. All right, so here's the waistband for the front. Now I'll proceed to cut out the rest of the skirt. Yeah. All right, and here we have it. We're done cutting out our front skirt block with the waistband. Now I'll keep this aside and I'll come in with the back skirt block so that we will do a little bit of alteration there. Now let's move over to the back. Okay, so for the back, so I will not be closing my dart for the back because I will be stitching it. All right, now, so another alteration that we're going to be making on the back is that we'll be coming down on the back waistline, okay, by ½ an inch. All right, we'll be coming down here by ½ an inch. Now this will help your skirt to sit properly. Okay, but before I mark this, I'll go ahead and close my dart just a little. Okay, this way. Yeah. So I'll just try and close it just a little like this so that I can connect it to the ½ inch mark. Okay, so I'm connecting from the side back to the center back. All right. Yeah. Okay, so this is what I have on my back. All right, so if you open it up, this is the way it is. Okay, next thing that we're going to do is to go ahead and mark our band. All right, and remember the width of the band is 1.5 inches. Okay, so I'll go ahead and mark my 1.5 inches waistband this way. All right, then I'll try to close the dart a bit. Okay, now I'm marking it on this our new line. All right. Yeah. Okay, and here we have it. Now I'll try and connect it. Okay, so here we have it. This is the back waistband. All right, so let's label it as well. Now I'll be closing this the dart here, okay, before I cut it off. Yeah. All right, so here we have it. I have closed the dart permanently there. All right, so label the back. Okay, so first of all, here's my side back. All right, and here's the center back. Okay, and this is the back waistband. All right, we'll also use arrows to indicate the part that is facing the waistline. All right, so this is the joining line. Once I see the arrows, I know. Okay, so this is it, and I'll proceed to cut out. Okay, so here we have it. All right, so this is the back waistband. Now I'm going to leave the dart this way because I'll be stitching the rest of the dart. All right, so I'll go ahead and cut the rest of the back. All right, so here we have it. I'm done cutting out. Okay, so this is the back, and here is the back waistband. All right, and this is the front and the front waistband. Okay, so for the waistband, I will go ahead and join them by the sides, okay, so that it will be one single waistband. All right, you also have an option to join them separately, okay, so, but I'll be joining them together as a single waistband. So I'll go ahead and join them by the sides. All right, I'll join the side back to the side front this way so that they will be a single piece. Okay, now this is it for the pattern. So let's look at the fabric that we're working with. All right, so here's the fabric that we're working with. This is the African print fabric. Okay, I love the multicolors, and this is the lining. So we're going to be lining this. Now we're also going to be ironing down our Peste interfacing on this to give it more stability. Okay, so I'll go ahead and transfer all the patterns to the fashion fabric and the lining. Okay, I'll also iron down my interfacing on them, and we will continue. All right, so here is our skirt. Okay, I'm gonna head to iron down the interfacing. Okay, and this is the back. So I have my interfacing ironed from the waist, okay, to this point. Now let me show us the areas, the important areas that you need to iron down your interfacing. Okay, so I have it ironed from the waist to just before the knee. All right, and I have the interfacing ironed on the slit line. All right, I also have it on the hem of the skirt. Okay, repeated the same thing on the back side. Now I did the same thing on the lining as well. I have the interfacing from the waist to this point, and I have it on the slit line, okay, and on the hem. Now if you have enough interfacing, you can go ahead and iron down your entire skirt, but these are the most important areas. Okay, this will add to give your skirt more stability. All right, now I went ahead to mark my dart. All right, and I marked it here as well. Now I marked our zip allowance of 1 inch. So I have it marked all the way to the hem of the skirt. Okay, so this is it for the lining of the back. I did the same thing on the fashion fabric of the back as well. All right, so I have my dart allowance. Okay, I have my dart marked. I have my 1 inch zip allowance marked all the way to the hem. All right, I have my dart marked here as well. So as usual, I'll go and hold my darts. All right, stitch, then I'll use a loose stitch from the waist to the hip length. From the hip length, I'll use a tight stitch all the way to where my slit is starting, and from there I'll use a loose stitch to the hem. All right, we have a detailed video on how to join skirts. So this is it for the back. Now let's look at the front. Okay, so this is the front. I have my interfacing also ironed down. All right, and I also have it at the hem of the skirt. I did the same thing on the lining as well. All right, so I'll go ahead and hold my darts, okay, then do my shaping, all right, and join the skirts. We have a little video on how to join skirts, so I'll leave the link in the description box. I'll go ahead and hold that, do my shaping, and join the fashion fabric and the lining separately. Okay, now let's look at the skirt band. All right, so here is the band. Now I told us that I will be joining it. Okay, so I have gone ahead to join it. So I joined it first before I cut out the fabric. Now here it is. Remember our side front and the side back. I joined it, okay, so that we can have a single piece. And remember that the front is unfold and we have the unfold sign here. All right, so I went ahead to cut it out this way. Okay, you can see now this is the way it was, all right, when I cut it. Okay, so I cut it out this way. All right, so we have ½ inch at the lower part and we have ½ inch at the top part. Then we have it extra 1 inch here. Okay, although my zip is going to be going into the band, okay, but I just added the ½ inch there. So this is it. I will go ahead now. After I cut it, I iron down my interfacing on it. Okay, so we have 2 pieces of the band here. One will serve as the lining. All right, so I'll go ahead and stitch on the band. Okay, I will first stitch on the top part. All right, now I went ahead to mark my ½ inch all the way. So I'll be stitching down on the half inch at the top part first. Now when I'm done, I'll flip it, iron it down, all right, and we'll proceed. All right, so I'm done joining the skirt. Okay, so this is what we have now. This is the back. All right, so this is the back. Here's the slit. I've opened it. Okay, and this is the front. Okay, so this is the skirt. All right, now let's look at the lining as well. Okay, so here's the lining. Now here's the lining. I've opened up the allowance for the zip. Okay, so I've turned it and I've pressed it. Now here is the slit as well. Okay, so we'll move over to the turning of the fashion fabric with the lining. All right, so now I already have a detailed video on how to turn a skirt with lining. All right, so I'll drop the link in the description box. And here's the skirt. So I'm done turning the fashion fabric with the lining. Okay, so I'll turn it to the back side so that we will see what it looks like. So here it is. Now I'll still go ahead and sew down the slit. Okay, now I'll drop the link in the description box of the detailed video on how to hem the skirt. Okay, this way. Now let's move over to the waistband. So I'll come in with our waistband. All right, now remember what I told us. I first joined it at the top part using half inch. Okay, and I gave it a good press. Now this is it. So the next thing you need to do is to go ahead and fold it into two, and you will notch the mid part. Now you also need to notch the mid part of your skirt waistline. Now on the waistband, you will need to open it up by 2 inches on both sides. Okay, remember we need the zip to go into the waistband. So from the ends of the waistband, you open it up by 2 inches. All right, now I'll come in with the waistband and I'll go ahead and start my sewing. So I'm starting from the right side of the fashion fabric. All right, so I'll go ahead and pin down my waistband. Okay, now I'll pin it down on the waist. All right, and I'll go ahead and sew it using 0.5 inch. Okay, so I'll go ahead and sew it round on half inch. Now when I'm done, I will flip it in, okay, into the skirt. All right, and I'll also join the other part of the waistband to the lining. All right, then I'll go ahead and fix my zip. Remember, the zip is going to go into the waistband. So I'll go ahead and do this. All right, then I'll use the second half of the waistband to turn the lining. All right, and I'll also use it to turn the zip. Okay, so I'll go ahead and take this to my sewing machine and I'll join them. All right, then I'll finish up the slit. All right, so our skirt is ready. Let me turn it to this side so that we can see it clearly. All right, so I'm gonna head to fix the band. Now the beauty of this band is that when my client wears it, it's going to sit round. All right, no part is going to be a bit puffy. Okay, it's going to be well relaxed on her. Okay, so this is the band. Now this is the entire skirt. Okay, so let's see the inside. All right, so you can see the inside of the band and you see how well relaxed it is. Okay, now you can see it's fully turned with the lining. Now this is the lining part. All right, so it's fully turned with the lining. All right, now let's look at the slit. Okay, so this is the slit part of the skirt. All right, so this is it. Okay, so I have a detailed video on how to do this, how to turn this skirt with the lining and how to hem your skirt perfectly this way. It's fully detailed. All right, you guys know when I say it's fully detailed, it is fully detailed. All right, and it's easy, step-by-step process as well. So this is it. Thank you guys for watching. The skirt is ready. Okay, kindly subscribe to my channel and drop your comments in the comment section and I'll surely respond to them. Okay, so we'll see again in my next video. Bye.